Okay, here's the attic. I've got my ladder all set up. It's a pain working with these little giant ladders, but you know, a regular 6-foot ladder around the house just wouldn't have done it. I wouldn't have been able to get up on the roof. I wouldn't have been able to get up in here. I wouldn't be able to replace batteries on smoke detectors and all that kind of good stuff. So even though they're heavy, they come in handy. And I needed to show you how to check this out, but you know, I need some light up in there. Really? My mother gave me this flashlight. Here's another one. Hardly any light coming out of these flashlights, I tell you. No batteries around. Well, she got these from a little expo show. Look, see this little light? That thing is pretty bright. And a good thing I've got 2 of them. Okay? So, there you go. I'm going to go up there with this light, and I'm taking you along with me, and we're going to check this out, and that's all the light I've got. Had I not had these 2 little lights, I would have run the extension cord and drug my construction light up there. Okay? But we're doing things on the fly. I don't want to spend too much time on here. This is the morning. I don't want it to get too hot and all that kind of stuff. Okay? So up in the attic we go. Hey, this will be a good test for my HD camcorder. It's supposed to do good in low levels of light. This is just my little flashlight here. And I'm at the right can. Here's what your can's going to look like. And I pulled the insulation back, and the good news so far is this is blow-in insulation and it's all dry. I was fearing that this whole area was going to be all wet and saturated. I pulled the blow-in insulation around and off our project area, and I'm looking around here, and you have to kind of take a mental note. I remembered it was dripping more so here than on the other side. Shining my flashlight on the other side, I don't see much. I see a nice little black area here, or a little darker discolored area, and it looks like that's where it started dripping right here. And I can see that the backing of the sheetrock paper is bubbled and rippled right there. And see, that's where it was dripping from up on the roof. It was hitting there, and then it was running that direction over to the light fixture, and it went out. It always tries to find the closest out area. And if there was a seam in the sheetrock, can you see if there was a seam between 2 pieces of sheetrock, that would have fit into the seam, and it would have started lifting the tape on the sheetrock ceiling. So I'm glad that didn't happen. Okay, I looked over here, and this is dry. Around there is dry, and it doesn't look as bad as I first thought. And I'm glad I got up here. I still am not sure where it's leaking up on the roof, but I'm going to leave this kind of back like this just in case it rains again, let's say. Another thing you could do is you could if you pinpoint where it's leaking, you could put something up here. Maybe we could put a small little bucket to catch the water, because there wasn't that much water, you know. And you could do that until you get a roofer out, or until you figure out how to get the roof fixed. You can try to fix the roof a couple different areas where you think it is. Next time it rains, maybe it's still leaking and you still got your bucket here, and you go back up, and the second time you do any imaginable areas up there with hot tar, not hot tar, but just tar out of a bucket or something, or caulking, whatever, and you finally get it. That's something you could do too. And then afterwards, you're going to have to come back up here and straighten all the blow-in insulation again, because this is what gets you your insulation factor, is this stuff here. So I want to make sure to put all this back after we get the roof fixed. Okay. Yeah, now I've got to look up on the ceiling and see if I can figure out what's going on. I'm not sure if I can, but at least the main thing is I know that if it leaks again, all my insulation is dry, it's not matted up, and I can tell that the water is dripping at one point next to the can light. Remember, I thought it might be coming over from this left-hand area up against the wall or something coming this way. If it would have, I would see a discoloration like this all the way over to the left here, and then I would pull this insulation back. But see, it's all dry over further. Okay, right in here, it's dry, you see? Okay. Right in here, it's dry. I don't see any little discoloration like I do over there, okay? At least that's the first thing that we gotta figure out, and it's done. And even if you got a roofer here, he's gonna have to go through all these same steps, so maybe you can just find it yourself. We go right up here, and this is straight above the leak area, and I'm not really seeing anything right there. And like I say, it could be leaking up this way, running down the edge of one of these rafters. See how this rafter keeps continuing up there? It could be leaking way up there, running down, and then drip, drip, drip. But I know it would have to be coming off of this rafter here, don't I? If it was coming off that rafter. Because right at that point, kaboom, that's where the leak is. Or it could be running off this edge, or it could just be running right through the roof, and it could be right where the nails are. You know, it could be something as simple as that. Well, that's not really simple, is it? You know, how would you fix something like that? But it looks like the roof is actually in pretty good condition here. And like I say, it's only maybe a 13, 14-year-old roof and such. Okay, so it's just a little tricky. I think I'm gonna have to go back up on the roof and look at it a little bit more closely. I mean, it's just one little pinhole. It could be one little pinhole. It's like finding a needle in a haystack. But at least I've done my due diligence, and I've crawled all the way back here. I've pleased Mother out. I can give her a little report, and then we can decide what to do here. I might put a little bucket right down here, and next time it rains, maybe I don't do anything until next time it rains. It's supposed to rain mid this week in a couple days, and I could shimmy back up in here with the flashlight and then do a little bit more probing, get my construction light back here, because it could be on the back side of this rafter. And I actually looked on that, and see, here's the back side of that rafter. And because it's only been leaking this first time, I'm not going to see big huge marks on the side of the beam. Let's say if it's running down the side of a rafter or something, I don't see any markings, residues of water stain or discoloration in the wood. Okay, and so because this is a fresh leak, next time it rains, I may just have to come up here, and at least I'll know where it's dripping out. Whether it's here, it could be way up here, you know? And that's what I'm hoping to find, something like that. And then water maybe running down the side of a rafter over to here, and then drip, 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 drip. And it could be just right in the middle of the paneling, you know, the roofing material. And it could just be leaking up there and running right down the middle. It might not even be next to a rafter. And just, I can see the line, and then it drips off of there. It's funny how water works, you know what I mean? And so a little bit more investigating I think I'll have to do next time it rains, so I can figure this out. Well, time to get back out of here. Now, which way was it? Oh, over there. Oh, one last thing. If you ask, hey, how did you know it was that light and not this can here? Well, I looked through this can a little bit, but once I located this can, I knew that other lights were going to be 3 feet one direction, to the right or to the left. I went over here, found this one, and you see that light that's coming up around the light fixture? That's because we took the trim off, remember? And so that's why I started digging down there, and that's where I found the leak and all that. Okay, think about your project and check her out. Hey, even though I've got to go back up here later, go ahead and make sure you put your crawl hole sheetrock back for now, okay? We don't want any cold air going up into our hot attic. That would defeat the purpose. There we go, okay. There. I'll have to take this ladder out too. So we got the closet, and you know, next time it rains, guess what I'm going to be doing? Yes. That's all I got for this time, but I'll be back with more videos.